I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dispatches from Elsewhere AfterBuzz TV After Show, where we're going to be breaking down tonight's episode number 7, The Cave of Kelpis. It's an interesting revelation. Every episode's been named after a person, and now we are in this completely brand new space. But we're not here alone. By my side, I have Benjamin Schnau.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to see you again. And this is going to be a crazy show. I can feel it already. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have no idea. We're going to get into all that. With me again is Shyntel de Aguila.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
Hello.
And new recruit for our team from Elsewhere herself, Eve Lindley.
Woo!
How's it going?
It's great. We're so excited to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh my God.
Okay, so this episode, man, we started underground. It led to the big finale. Then we got to know everybody at the wrap party, and we got to share a great moment with Simone and Peter. So we're going to talk about all those things, and hopefully we're going to have some time to take some questions with you, if that's okay. But so, guys, let's just start. Take a breath, like I need to. Take a step back. Let me hear your overall thoughts. I'm sorry, I'm so worked up. Shyntel, what'd you think of the episode?
Oh my gosh, so much happening in the episode. I don't even know where to begin. I am like just everywhere. I'm everywhere right now. I'm trying to collect all of my thoughts, to be honest with you. I'm upset. I'm happy. I'm in a roller coaster of emotions. First of all, did we see? I mean, you know what? I think we all saw it coming with, Octavio and Commander 14.
I don't know if I did or not, because I said from the beginning. Well, remember, I was like, I bet you that, like episode 1, I was like, I bet you they're the same person. And then we saw them in the same space, and I went, I could be wrong about that. And then last episode, we go upstairs to the penthouse and we see the video, and I'm like, they're talking like in unison. They're definitely the same person. And then again, they show up in the same space, and I was like, well, I was so very wrong about that. And then he takes off his makeup, and they are the same person. I don't know what to think anymore. Ben, give me some ground.
I never knew what to think, to be honest. I was always lost. So, but for me, what I really liked about this episode is, for me personally, that I understood a little more where Fredwin is coming from. So I think he basically also had his moment now when we realized, oh my God, he was always trying to win. He was always trying to make it right. And we saw his childhood and everything. So I was really glad, because we experienced some of the different characters already. And now having his background too was very much appreciated. So I really liked seeing that too.
I wholeheartedly concur. And yeah, just because the game is over does not mean our characters' stories are.
That's right.
So on that note, Eve, do you watch your own work? Is it weird for you, or do you even get a chance to see the episode as a finished product?
Yeah, this is the first time I've really tuned into my own work and done it, and I go on, Jason kind of got me into Twitter, and so I look and see what everyone's thinking, and
oh man,
kind of watch along with everyone. So
it's weird, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I've never kind of taken responsibility for a show in this way, but I feel like I'm really part of it, so it's kind of fun.
Good. So if you can be objective, how did you find the episode?
It's one of my favorite episodes, actually. I think it's it comes to a really chaotic, or it begins in this very chaotic way, and there's a lot of kind of there's a lot of humor with us chasing after this milkman that nobody really knows, what he is, or why he has milk. So yeah, I think it I don't know, I think it's even though it's probably not the ending to the big game that everybody saw coming, I think it is the correct one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it feels like a finale, and obviously that's in large part because, like you said, after the chaos of trying to play this game and then taking it to a whole nether level, literally underground, chasing this guy, they wander into what I would call the backstage area. I thought they completely dismantled the whole production, as it were. But then they slip out another back door, and somehow they're back in it. There was even a moment I thought when all the robes and such, I was like, oh, did they wander into somebody else's LARP? Or is
some other
it felt so
or-
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is this still the same game? So there
So
was
strange.
from the get-go, there was nothing in this episode that I felt like maybe anchored hour 4. There was just one constant new experience after the other. And after Peter makes a big scene at the finale and doesn't undo it, but it makes kind of pulls down the curtain a little bit on the show itself, and thus breaks the illusion of the whole experience. We find themselves at this rap party where the whole fourth wall or whatever it is gone. Everything's gone.
Mhm.
Like,
yeah.
sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. There was just like, I didn't like, thank God for you and Peter's moment at the end, because and like you said, Ben, with Fredwin, because everything about this episode felt so unbalanced and like precarious. It was chaos, like you said. But yeah, so let's talk about what it was like to see this finale and all these revelations that Commander 14 and Octavio are siblings, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think we find out that they are twins. They are male twins, called the Chuck's Dorp.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Same name.
Plural.
Yes.
Chucks.
Which kind of gets us back to the idea, I think discussed that at the very beginning, that this whole game was pretty much made up to have people like yourself, Eve, your character, and everyone, Peter's character, coming together and really discovering themselves, getting out of their comfort zone, or not even their comfort zone, but out of their unhappy lives, right? And just creating something for them that they can even find themselves again. So I think, isn't that that's how it feels to me now. Correct me if I'm wrong, or do you guys have a different feeling?
I think you're absolutely right. I loved Peter's speech that he gave before everyone went into the hole. It was dramatic, but it was super poignant. And he was like, you guys didn't do this because you really wanted to communicate with dolphins, as cool as that is. You did it because there was something in your life that you needed to shake up or replace. You did it to have an experience. And they, one way or the other, were absolutely having an experience. So yeah, he was wholeheartedly right. And Ben, I now completely agree with you that this whole thing was made for just these 4 people. Like,
yeah.
Even if that wasn't what the architect had envisioned, that's what this became.
I mean, when I watched the show the very first time, when I remember when Peter is getting into this building and he's doing all these things that he got told over the phone, I always had the thought it feels like a chess game almost. They are the figures almost on that chess game, and we have Octavio and these people from the outside moving these characters now, trying to work together, but also trying to self-discover themselves. And I think it's correct. So, and I think, Eve, we also talked about that. What I like about the show so much is that I see myself in this show too, because I feel like that's what life is all about, right? It's about self-discovery. I think a lot of people, even today, living life, they don't even really know who they really are. They're just living a life just by living it and don't really think about much. And I think this show, especially myself, made me realize, hey, you should also reflect on yourself, understanding who you are in this world. So, and I think we saw that even more in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry, go ahead, hon.
No, just sorry. It's like only my second Zoom ever, so I'm still kind of learning.
Just started.
I'm still getting used to it. This is my second one today, and I'm still getting used to it. Yeah. Okay. Well, so Shyntel, what was your experience with this finale?
I just want to get back to that scene, where you see them chasing the milkman, and Peter has that big brave speech. You see Peter's character just evolving more, and I love it. I love that he was being the heroic one in that scene. Is like, let's go. Like, we've seen it in Simone, in Eve's character. She's done it here and there. Janice had her moment, and Fredwin. But this was like Peter's moment to step up to the plate and to be the leader. And although he didn't do it gracefully, Hint, hint. I swear, I was like, oh my God, please don't break your legs. But I really enjoyed that moment. I've always been a huge Peter fan. I am his cheerleader, and it was really good to see that. It really was, and then they get to another moment. He walks up on stage and he's like, no, this can't be, like, this isn't true. There's more. Clara told me, like, don't listen to this. There's truth behind this. This is not the truth. Again, you see Peter just trying to stand up, and I mean, like I said, I can't say enough great things about him, and I'm just so happy that he's
definitely busting out of his shell. He's Peter is, I don't want to say unrecognizable, but he is almost an entirely different person by the end of this episode. I think the missing piece was using music to express his emotions. But
it's like
before
full
then,
circle.
but still, yeah. Oh yeah,
Circle.
no, that's good story writing. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, getting up on stage and making a scene and demanding more from life and everything, rather than just accepting what is given to him leisurely. That's a very different Peter than we met in the first episode.
Absolutely.
And I love it. So one thing I noticed, Ben, this is harking back to your theory that it's made for just the four, when they were doing that montage with the memories, which I loved, as someone who kind of worked behind the scenes on ARGs before, I was like, oh, what a clever way to do like the montage at the end, is to have everyone be like, oh, we're totally linking up your memories and we're going to play these memories back so everyone can relive the experience and think about their happiest times. This was a beautiful way to finish any kind of Go game or quest or game. But I noticed that the only clips they were showing were the ones of our main four. And that just made me falter a bit. I was like, okay, I was wrong about that it being a mass experience, that it was really just for these four. And I was also wrong that they were playing the game the whole time. They had cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Even when we thought we were off game, we were in the game.
Which is crazy to me, because I mean, like I said, I've done stuff like this, and I've seen people decide to go to new locations and then have the camera crew like race to get there first. But I mean, you and Janice and oh my God, I'm blanking on your character's name. Simone. Thank you. You guys like went so far off game. You snuck into an old woman's house.
Did, but
what?
We thought we were going off game, but
that's fair.
It's so hard for me because I obviously know what happens. So
don't say it. Don't say it.
Well, like, okay, so let me ask you this, just fun BTS stuff. This has nothing to do with the subject matter material. But like when they were recording, you guys looking at the microfilm, and there was the, I guess, security camera or whatever. Like, did they point out that's where it is and you got to play to that, or did they just like capture it incognito?
Actually, that it wasn't even. It wasn't a real security camera. It was the film crew, and
yeah.
So
they told you like, okay, there's the shot.
Yeah, I think we just sort of did the scene. And that day I was sort of just really excited because I think it was the first day that it was like only me and Sally on set. So like, I think I wasn't really fully paying attention that day. It was just sort of like looking at
You need to work opposite Sally Field. That's understandable.
Yeah, it was just like,
wow,
asking
that's
her
an honor.
about Legally Blonde 2 and all that.
Okay, cool.
It's such an honor. I mean, right? I mean, playing with Sally Field, that's such an honor. I mean, remembering Forrest Gump, playing the mom and everything. Wow, that brings back so much memories.
You just won't drop the Forrest Gump thing.
I mean, I love this guy.
I know.
I mean, sorry. I mean, again, Eve, I'm always saying on the show, the last couple of episodes, I was always saying Peter reminds me of Forrest Gump a little bit. Not completely, but there is something about him that is like so true and so pure in a way that makes him even more real than any other person. Even if he's maybe comes across like not the smartest guy, there is something about him. You know?
Forrest also was not afraid to ruin a broadcast presentation in order to go have a personal moment. So
that's exactly
not
right.
Far off.
You got it. You got it.
So yeah, that whole scene like was a whirlwind for me. And then by the end of it, when the rest of Peter's team were kind of like, you need to stand down. I felt heartbroken for everyone.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who to feel heartbroken for, because I didn't know whose party he had crashed by kind of overtaking the experience. But I obviously felt for him. I felt for the four vicariously, and then I felt for the whole production to be like, oh, they had this big bang, and for all of
Right.
the participants, and this guy kind of ruined it.
Ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really I think I wanted it to be heartbreaking for all of them, because they kind of, like they've just gone through this thing where they're like, oh, Peter has all of this new gusto and he's like feeling his oats and he's like really going for it, and then like, oh, we were wrong, and so none of this is like none of this
Yeah.
counts in a way.
I definitely noticed your performance at that point. You had been doing it throughout the whole episode, but at that scene particularly, I could feel your empathetic heartache.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, because your Eve seemed, God, I won't stop doing this. I'm the worst with names, Eve. Simone would not. She, at the very beginning, I don't want to say she was hesitant, but she was kind of getting a little bit out of her comfort zone and starting at the apartment and then chasing the guy down. And by this point, she felt so uncomfortable in her surroundings with the way this whole thing was kind of falling apart around them.
Yeah.
Am I off on that?
No. I mean, I think particularly in the moments when we're like in that forest and everything, and it all, like we think we're about to like expose some deep truth, and then we like realize that this has all been, as Simone says, it's all a lesson in cooperation. Barf.
I liked the message. It was a nice message.
Yeah, cooperation is good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I just wanted to ask something very quickly. From my understanding, Simone, the character, also realized on that episode, for me, you definitely feel more for Peter than you admitted the whole time. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely because I always like this kind of connection that you guys have. No one really wants to say how you really feel about the other person, but everyone kind of knew already from the beginning that you guys have something going on, So how was that for you in this moment? So was it the right time for you now? Did you feel the character Simone was now ready to open up a little more?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Simone, in particularly, it's like this whole idea of like dating or like, belonging to someone or whatever is like just such a far-fetched idea that she would never like assume that was going to happen.
Right.
And kind of, proximity to somebody really shows you a lot about them. And I think especially like when Peter, there's that moment where they see each other after the day apart. I think so much of episode 7 really is informed by episode 6 because it's one day.
Right.
True.
So after like a day with Janice and she like sees him walking and it becomes slow-mo and the song plays. That's the moment when she's like, oh shit. Like,
right.
Cute. I really like him.
I really dig that cover too.
It's almost like real life. Sometimes you just realize how important someone is to you when you're not with that person, right? When you don't have what you always had. So I think that was a great moment to show that. Yeah. It was great.
Oh, I missed him.
I know, right?
Well, I love how the relationship between Simone and Peter developed. I think that they really pull each other's strong points. And in this scene, in that great finale scene that we've all been waiting for, like, oh my gosh, when it happened, can I just say, I was like, yes, you go, girl. Like, you did it. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know what episode it was going to happen. But it was like the two of you were meant to be. Like, you guys just filled each other's hole. There was something you could tell in each character. There's always something that's missing in their life. And between the characters of Simone and Peter, I think that the way that they played the game, and the way that both the Jejun Institute and, um, put them together in that group. They knew their purpose, and like it was just, it was perfect. It was so perfect, and I love how it came at the very end. And like I said, I love that it was like full circle. It involved music and everything.
I know. I
It was a
love
great scene.
so much.
It was a great scene.
Well, I was still wondering, like, because the characters hadn't reached the end of their arc yet. They had the rug pulled out from underneath them, and they definitely had grown as people, but it wasn't over for them. The game wasn't necessarily over for them, and whatever they needed to get out of the game was still not quite in their grasp. And I think we see a lot of that in the party with each individual character.
Yeah.
Simone is beside herself, trying to make sense of everything and her experiences with the game, and us with Peter. Peter obviously is still hung up on Clara and trying to help her. Uh, Janice has, for some reason, not let herself admit to herself that she does have friends and that these people genuinely do care about her. They weren't just assigned to her. And then, and like you said, Ben, with Fredwin, we get to have him have a real moment of growth just as an individual. He's still hung up on trying to expose what all this is about and understand it. But I think that actually fell by the wayside finally during the after party, where he discovers what he was really missing all along. So, what did you guys think of this after party? Because my note that I wrote down for myself is, why is everything so condescending? And to the point where I was like, I don't believe any of these people are participants in this experience anymore. I feel like they'd be a little more appreciative of life and relationships with strangers now. That's me and my conspiracy theory. So, Shyntel, what do you think?
Well, I mean, initially when they walk into this after party, first of all, I my heart ached for Janice. It was just so tough to see her kind of um, meet with that group and discuss like the whole journey and the game and the experience for her. And I could see her pulling back and going back into the old Janice, and like alone and needy. I hate to say that word, but needy, like looking for someone to want her, and she didn't have that. So it like I said, it was really difficult to see her kind of like look around and wonder like, okay, where are my people? And then feel like, oh no, they weren't really my friends. Like we were just together. We were just a group. It was just a game. Um,
That
so
hated me so much because
yeah,
everyone had a blue paddle. Everyone should have been family. And
yes,
came up and said, I love the dolphin. And everyone's like, oh, the dolphin wasn't real. Well, it was real for her. And you should support
exactly.
that.
Yeah,
God,
don't shut down her
God, that irritated
experiences.
me.
It made me, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And then for that snarky comment for that girl to make like, oh, my grandmother, like she falls asleep during Jeopardy. I was like,
Oh,
how
yeah, that too. That was
rude.
so uncalled for.
How rude. That should have been the moment that Simone walked over and had been like, excuse me.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
you're gonna need to take it back, honey, because this is a two-time Oscar winner you're talking to. So
Right. Right.
Yeah, that was
um
great.
Sorry, but you were saying before
no,
I
no, no,
interrupted.
of course, of course.
That was good.
But and then you have Simone's moment with I almost called him Chewbacca. Woo! Where's my brain
Elegant
tonight?
Squatch.
Elegant
His name
Squatch.
was Elegant Squatch. He
Yeah,
said it many
exactly.
times.
I'm so sorry.
because of copyright laws.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Elegant Squatch.
Yeti and Sasquatch and Bigfoot, all of the public domain names.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that explains it, because I was like, maybe they're just trying to play up, on this make believe character that we all know of.
There's a real game, the real
Uh-huh.
institute, and there was a Sasquatch like heavily used and heavily featured.
Look
Oh,
at
I cannot wait to watch
Eve
this
did her
documentary.
research.
Oh, you
She did her
mean-
re-
Like a huge part of the story. So
That's awesome.
Oh, you mean that real game that happened in San Francisco back
Yeah.
in the days? Is
Uh-huh.
that the real? Oh, okay, I got you. Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
I read
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I read about that.
Well, who knew
Yeah.
that they had an actual Sasquatch in there? Go figure.
Oh, real
But
Sasquatch.
Sorry, what
but
you were saying though.
that moment, no, I'm so sorry.
Simone.
No, don't worry. I was gonna say I'm Italian. I love talking, so I can go all night. But that moment, you know, that she has on the couch with Mr. Harry Man. Again, another there's so many raw moments within this scene, within this episode, of them at this after party. I can go on for hours literally talking about it. Just again, I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin. My brain's kind of everywhere because this party was.
All right, let's
I'm still in
collect your
shock.
thoughts. Yeah,
know.
there's a lot to go over here.
Yes.
Ben, give me something. What stood out
You
to
want-
you about
I
This-
should give you something. Okay.
so many things in the scene? So what stood out to you?
All right. Yeah, I mean, I really have to say, I'm coming back to the same thing. I mean, for me, it wasn't really just a party. It was really more like, okay, this kind of moment of like the self-discovery again, right? I always have to say that, especially in this episode. And I felt this especially about this in this moment, where everyone kind of knew, okay, that's now what I want, that's now who I am, and that's what I'm going for. And then coming back to Fredwin, I think again, I was always missing that part. So when he basically opened up and we really knew why he was that person, because he was always this kind of guy you couldn't almost talk to, right? He always had an opinion. He was so strong and it was always about his point of view. And now realizing why he became that person made me think a lot, you know, because I think that's how you become. When you experience something like that as a kid, that's the person you become.
Yeah,
I think that's
traumatic.
a fact, you know. It is kind of dramatic, and that basically reminds me every time that our childhood and everything. I'm very philosophical today, but I have to say that the childhood is so important, right? Because it kind of like influences or basically, makes you become the person you are today, even without realizing.
Everything is important because what the experience he had just gathered through this game with the Ulster Society did shape him again.
For sure.
So he's a new person. He's a better person. And he wants to be a good friend. And he did it in the very Fredwin way by pretty much expressing that's what a friend would do. We should do what a friend does and try to seek out Janice. We find that she's outside and she's doing what she's always done, supporting her team and finishing Fredwin's hunt, and finds the architect.
Yeah.
Which I assume we're going to get to that next episode and figuring out what the clue or what the revelation with the architect's backstory, and that's the backstory for the whole experience. I'm hoping.
Is that right, Eve? Is that what's going to happen?
Don't say anything.
That's what's going to happen. Tell us. You can tell us.
I'm also hoping, and this you can admit, I want to see if we're going to get more of the Chuck Stropes or whatever, because that was an exciting new character. Man, Richard E. Grant put on a whole nother face for that.
Yes, yeah. Like, first of all, I want to say, you know, he's an amazing actor. Chucks, I'm talking about, is an amazing actor to play Octavio. Like, because I thought he was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah. Okay, at the party.
He is
and so
complete drug addict, and somehow he managed to memorize all of those lines that Octavio says.
Wow.
With people running behind him through a fountain, I was like, this is top-notch work.
Wow.
So I want to make sure we give plenty of time to the most significant moment of the episode, in which Peter sings karaoke in front of an audience. He uses music to express himself in a singular moment to Eve, and they have a really romantic kiss. This was a great scene. This, like you said, Shyntel, we all knew or hoped that it would come to this point, but I didn't expect such a wonderful payoff.
Oh, right. It was beautiful.
Okay, Shyntel's crying. Ben?
I am. I'm just ignore me.
I cried already, so I just, I'm empty. Okay. But the thing is, it's just mind blowing. His arc, his character arc, is just amazing to me. So, I remember at the very beginning, he didn't even know. He was always getting up the same day, doing the same thing. He didn't even know why. He just did it, right? And now out of a sudden, this kind of shy guy, not even able to really express himself, talking to Simone, is always looking away. He's very hard to keep eye contact the whole time. And now out of a sudden gets even on stage, sings a song even that no one can, not a lot of people could do that, right?
Yeah.
And and it's
Well, and
also
he still,
kissing her.
thank God
I
that
mean,
Fredwin was there to help him out.
of course, but still, think about it. What kind of a change? Because so many people have problems like talking in front of people, right?
Yeah.
And he even like coming from this character, like being the shy guy, not even able to talk to someone like a single person properly. Just going on stage and doing something like that was just amazing for me to see. I mean,
So-
Eve, how did you feel in the
I
moment?
was
mean,
just
when
gonna
you even
ask,
saw that,
yeah.
I just wanted to ask you,
What
like,
was it
even-
like?
not just you as Simone, but you as as yourself.
Mhm.
Well, me as myself, I was like, honestly, I was concerned because I didn't know how to kiss on camera, and I was like,
Oh, really? Really?
It's
That is
weird.
so cute.
It's weird.
I
I've
love
done it a few
that.
times. I hated all of it. We go on, Eve.
and Jason has kissed like every female actress ever on camera, so he like knows how to do it, and I was like, I don't know how to do this, but yeah, I was nervous, and then it like took me a minute to realize that like Jason was the one who was like singing in front of a bunch of people, and that like I really had the easier
Right.
like job in that scene. So but yeah, I thought it was so sweet. I really did. I love that song. I love big, grand, like romantic comedy sweeping gestures. I love when they show up in shows that they don't really, they don't seem like they would belong in. But yeah, I loved it. And also I think it's really, the whole party scene, it's like every character has an opportunity to revert back to how they were before the game started. Like Simone can like
Right.
close off and become very sarcastic the way she used to be, and Peter can be down in the dumps and go back to the life that he knows, and Fredwin can be challenging and just sort of stay that way. Janice can, go back to the way things were, but they all kind of do contrary actions to what they would normally do. And it's really
Right.
cool.
Yeah,
Cool that they
it's
all
really cool.
interacted.
I mean, that's why I love this scene. Not only was it beautiful and built and everything was amazing, but it was the antithesis, or not the, it was the show like condensed. Everyone had their character growth revealed in a big sweeping gesture, and maybe not a romantic karaoke ballad, but they all had a big moment, and I love it. And now they're all new people, so I'm looking forward to the next episode where we get to see what happens. So that was my cue to let you know it's time for Q&A, Eve, if you may. Shyntel, you had a question for Eve.
I did. I'm so sorry. Circle back to me because
Okay, Ben, you had a
I'm gonna ask
question for
a
Eve.
A few.
Oh my God, I just know one question. I have so many questions. Oh my goodness. I mean, for me, it's always interesting, even like, from my own experience, have an understanding. How was the audition process? I'm always interested in that. So, you just come together, and you mentioned already, wow, I'm working with Sally Field on screen. I'm with Jason, I'm with,
Mhm.
and with
Yeah.
Fredwin, with Andre 3000, all these people. So how was it for you? How did you even get approached, and how did you like end up on that project? But, can you just describe that a little bit? That would be amazing.
I mean, I auditioned. It was just sort of a run of the mill, like, it was just an audition, and I went in for it initially with the casting director, and then I went about my business and like didn't think about it, and then
Great.
I found out about a callback that was on a Monday with Jason, and then again on a Wednesday in front of like, the
Right.
the AMC people, and then I found out on that Friday that I got it. So it was like a week of
Wow.
Wow.
really.
Wow.
Well, so
And-
let me, if I can roll off this question. You're playing a character that is kind of thrust into this very surreal experience. And you're like, so I feel like for you as the actress, there's layers then.
Yeah.
Am I
think-
wrong? How surreal was all this for you?
No, it was. I mean, I'm not really doing much acting in this show. Like,
Cool.
I'm sort of just like watching everyone be who they are and just being like, wow, like you're all really interesting people. Like it it really did mirror Simone's experience, because, you know, I was sort of left in Philly on my own and just like showing up to all these magical places and like, you know, hanging out with people who I had no idea who they were. And like, you know, it was not very hard to tap into her like, you know, her wonder and all of that, because I was sort of in it. Like,
Can I ask,
Right.
had you ever been to Philly prior to shooting the show?
no.
No. Wow. Okay.
Our
That's pretty
producers are from
crazy.
Philly, by the way. So they've been
Oh,
hearing us
yeah,
talk
right?
about Fish
Whoop,
Town and all
whoop.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Shyntel, you had another question.
Yeah, actually, so my question, Eve, for you was, what were some of the challenges you faced playing the role of Simone, and how did you overcome them? And then to kind of topic off of that, is there anything that you wanted to like portray in Simone's character that you felt was like super significant or important that you wanted the audience to see?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think for me, it was important, like, for people to realize that, like, Simone does not, you know, Simone has a whole entire, you know, we're meeting her at what she thinks is the end of her story. You know, like, she's gone through a whole bunch of shit already, and she's like gotten to this point, and she's like, okay, like, I don't know what my story is now, because I've, you know, for her it was, you know, transitioning or whatever, you know, she sort of just seems like she's at the end of it. And so I think, you know, for me, something I really wanted to put into her character is like the idea that she's very self-sufficient. She doesn't think she's owed anything. You know, she's very like, you know, like I'm a loner and I like do my thing, and like I've got my backpack, and like I like, you know, I don't need anybody. Because I think that is what's scary to her, is like the feeling of needing someone. Like, if you notice, she lives with her grandmother and not with her parents. So like we never really say where her parents are, but I kind of assume that they're not very supportive of her. So I think a lot of like the stuff beneath the surface for her has to do with like this intense identification with being alone and being lonely and all of that. I don't know if that makes sense.
It did. No. It does.
Oh.
It makes sense.
I mean, honestly, that sounds like real life, because I think every one of us had that feeling before in their life. I think that's the feeling you have. That's the human being feeling that's everyone felt at some point. And
Well, they said it
you
from
know,
the beginning. Simone is you. You are Simone.
Yeah.
Et cetera,
that's
et
right.
cetera.
No, I mean, but hey, no,
Eve,
seriously.
thank you so much for being here. We cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your evening, especially since you are in New York, way ahead of us over here in LA.
Yes. Thank you.
If fans ever feel like contacting you, you said you're new to Twitter. I don't know if you're ever on it.
Yeah, no, I'm like obsessed with Twitter now.
Well, where can fans find you?
I'm Eve Lindley on Twitter, and then I'm Eve C Lindley on Instagram.
Awesome. Ben, where can the fans find you?
Yeah, they can find me on Insta. I even can't believe we're over. I wanted to ask so many more questions.
I know, guys. I know.
I might be in touch on Instagram. Okay, but anyway, no.
That's why I'm mentioning it.
Oh yeah, that was something. Sorry, of course. So yeah, it's at Benjamin Schnau, Schnau, like the dog, right? And I'm also gonna do the show Deaths on Thursday, guys. Check it out, 5 p.m. Deaths on Hulu.
Okay, Shyntel.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Shyntel D. That's Shyntel with one L and the letter D. And you can catch me tomorrow, where I'm covering Apple's TV Home Before Dark.
Cool. I'm actually heading on to do another show with Briar Patch right after this. You guys can find me on Twitter at Kevin Allen Says, and Instagram at Kevin Allen Graham. I honestly, Eve, I could spend all night talking about this show, but we'll have to wait till next week. So tune in again live for another after show as we wrap up the series. Oh my God, it's the finale. I have no idea what to expect. Any final thoughts, Eve?
There's 10 episodes. It's not the finale next week.
No, it's not the finale. Yeah, we have
God.
3 more episodes.
Okay, I thought that, and then I got on the internet today, and it was like, hey, it's only 8 episodes, and I was like, no.
I was gonna say, we get to see the beautiful faces of all 4 characters 3 more times.
I just can't believe it's winding. Like, I can't believe the game is over already.
I know.
So
Yeah.
Who says it is?
All right.
Right?
Y'all have a great
Just
night.
saying.
We will see you next week for episode 8, and then back every week until the actual finale. All right.
Exactly.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.